We
Woo-hoo.
are live.
Hello, everybody.
Oh man.
It is 8:25. We will officially start at 8:28. 3 minutes to share this if it's meaningful to you. Grab a friend, grab a drink, and grab your friend a drink. But don't grab
All
your
right.
friend's drink
That's right. So you're bringing it to your friend to
unless
share.
you're bringing it to them.
Oh. Um.
How we doing, everybody? It's cold again. We're on the eve of, I think, what is going to end up being a big snow for North Carolinians.
Yeah.
There was a time last week when we thought that potentially we were going to get over a foot of snow.
The European model said that we were going to get 20 up to 24 inches of snow.
The American model last week said that there was a possibility for us to get 8 to 12, and the European said 18 to 24, and now it's out of the forecast, which, you know what, I'm okay with.
I'm okay with it too.
After last week having to do a virtual day,
Yep.
that was a lot.
That's right.
It was a lot.
Oh man. So how are you doing? How
Yeah.
are you doing? Let us know in the chat where you're viewing from tonight, or with your thumbs. Let us know. Yeah, what your forecast is for the next couple days.
What is the weather like
What's-
out your window?
Yeah, that's right. Is it Al Roker that always
Yeah.
says, "And here's what's
Happening
happening
in your
in your
neck of the
neighborhood, neck of the woods."
Come
Oh,
on
yeah.
now.
Who says outside your window?
I don't
Is
know.
that Jim Carrey in one of those movies?
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. That's not, pop culture is not my forte.
No. Well,
We all know that.
it's all right. It's all right.
So we gather every week at 8:28 to talk about creativity, to talk about spirituality, to draw back the curtain on our creative process in shaping what's going to become the homilies for Sunday at Christian Temple, but hopefully in the process kind of shedding some light on this whole thing we call life.
That's right. That's right. This thing we call life, we are gathered here today.
It's a lot.
That's the
This
Prince.
life is
Yeah.
a lot.
What song is that? Where he says, dearly beloved,
We are gathered here today.
for this thing called life. I can't remember what it is.
Somebody comment what the song is in the chat.
Well, so that's the Prince song, but the title song is none other.
It is one that I actually know.
Yeah,
None other than Taylor Swift.
that's right. It's a Swiftie song, and it kind of goes along with the scripture, maybe, but it's a great song.
It is a
So,
great song. All right, we're going to test. Oh, Judy said it's cold in Texas. You know it's cold when it's cold in Texas.
That's right.
So we're going to test you to see how well you know me, and guess how many times I have seen Taylor Swift live.
Ooh, how many times?
How many times have I seen Taylor Swift live? Several.
And you know what's interesting about this?
Yeah.
You have not seen Taylor Swift live since we've been married.
No, it really since we've been dating even. I haven't seen her live since the Fearless tour, whatever that was, 2010 maybe. Rick's close. 11 is close.
Joanne said
Joanne
3.
said 3. It's higher than that.
Hey Joanne, hey Deanna, hey Judy, hey Rick.
It's 9. I've seen her 9 times in person. No, Deanna, 20 would be great.
I thought it was 13.
It was 9.
I think I've seen Sister Hazel 13 times. I think that's what the thing is.
and
Maybe
so
that's
it
the
is.
number.
9 times. 3 of the times were free. So that gives you an idea of like way back yonder in the good old days
How about
that
that?
I saw her. But All You Are Is Mean. Love it. In fact, I got that album. That's, I think, from the Speak Now album.
I think it is.
I went to Walmart in Salem, Virginia when I was, I think I was a freshman or sophomore in college at 12:01 a.m. to get the Speak Now album as soon as it came out.
CD, right?
CD.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Was she even alive now? Where did I see her for free? At the Lexington Barbecue Festival in Lexington, North Carolina. I was
where they celebrate hush puppies of all kinds.
Hush puppies, yeah. I was a senior in high school. Then I was either a junior or senior. But yeah, man, I was an early adopter of Taylor Swift.
I love it.
I had pictures of her all over my wall in college. You know how it goes.
That's awesome. I had a Taylor Swift album right when it came out. It was the one with When You See Tim McGraw.
That was her debut album.
Really? Yeah.
Taylor Swift.
How about that?
She's actually getting ready to record that one again. So I really appreciate... Okay, look. Listen, this is the one moment you're going to get Katie to talk pop culture. She's re-recording that album. You know, she's re-recorded all of her songs.
Oh, she hasn't done that one yet?
The first two she hasn't done yet.
Really?
But it's all in an effort to reclaim her music as her own. Because she got into a copyright issue with her former record label. And it's this reclamation, and it's also this kind of... I just appreciate her shaping her own narrative and wanting to control her own narrative.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great lesson for people out there in the world, including me.
At some point, we need to show a picture of young Katie and young Taylor beside each other.
Not going to happen.
That was great.
Yep.
You had
got
boots.
to meet her several times. She signed my boots.
Yeah.
Boots.
With
a T.
That's awesome. And it was at the Lexington Barbecue Festival, which has great hush puppies. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Barbecue's not very good, but...
Yeah. Lexington Barbecue is known for its barbecue. But and this is the barbecue I grew up on. It was 45 minutes from my hometown. But what I learned once I started dating the biggest barbecue snob I know, well, the second biggest barbecue snob that I know, third biggest?
You know Tim Willis.
No, Tim was the first.
Brian Edwards is
probably.
Oh,
maybe Brian. Okay. So one of the top 3 barbecue snobs that I know, we went back and tested it according to Tim's standards, and it didn't meet the standards.
No.
So anyway, that's enough jibber jabbering. But here we are at Talkin' Toast to chat a little bit about what's going on in our world and how it kind of relates to the deeper things that go on in us and around us.
We're not here to talk about hush puppies and Taylor Swift.
I mean, I could do it. But we start every Talkin' Toast with a simple question, and that is, what is sustaining you? What is keeping you going right now? What is the 808 beat that's underneath the music to keep it moving?
Yeah, hip-hop.
What is saving your life today?
Yeah. What is sustaining you? Huh.
Yeah.
Katie, you want to go first? What is sustaining you?
Yeah, I will. I started my basketball coaching career this year. And I will tell you what, kids are not my forte in life. They're not my strong suit. I don't understand children. But I have had the most fun coaching basketball. And I had a group of 9 little girls, and they ranged from kindergarten to 2nd grade, and they were just an absolute delight this year. To get to coach them and to help them fall in love with basketball like I have. Anyway, so we had our last game on Saturday, and then we have like our trophy ceremony and everything this coming Saturday. And the 2nd grade all-star game. And anyway, it's just what a life that we get to watch kindergartners play basketball and be a part of that journey, because it has been a heck of a time.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
And the last game got a little tense, and I messed up, and I usually drink my mushroom coffee, but for this game I drank regular coffee.
I almost got in a fight with the other coach.
And I was like, I mean, I was anyway.
So was I.
You didn't almost get in a fight.
I didn't almost get in a fight, but I wanted to punch him.
Yeah, those are two different things, which goes along really well with our text tonight.
So, what is sustaining you?
What is sustaining me? Okay, here it is. I'm just gonna say it. On Thursday night at 8 o'clock. No, what did we decide? 8:30?
No,
8:28?
we decided 7.
7? No, I think we said 8, so it goes 8 to 9. That's what it was. 8 to 9 in prime time.
Okay.
We are releasing a show. It's called Sip and Savor. It's going to be on at 8 o'clock on Thursday. It's going to be on live on Facebook and on YouTube. But it's just like this, so it's going to be... It's not live. Like, we're not going to be live. We'll be live chatting on it. But yeah, we're going to release it out into the world. And it's going to play. And we'll be sitting there commenting with you and talking during the show. And I'm so excited about it. It's been something that we've worked really hard on. And we're going to put it out into the world, and it's been giving me so much joy, just kind of working on that in the background.
Yeah.
And so yeah, 8 o'clock Thursday night, be released into the world, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and yeah, it's going to be fun. It's called Sip and Savor.
Sip and Savor came from Talking Toast.
It did.
John and I get done with Talking Toast at night. And there are times when it feels like we just wish we could go deeper with it, and that we could sit with it for a little while and let it marinate and savor it, truly savor it, savor the conversation. So that's kind of what birthed the idea that birthed Sip and Savor.
Yeah.
And the idea is going to be completely kind of separate from the creative process of the homily, but still exploring creativity.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of fun.
It is. It's not necessarily kind of a spiritual kind of thing, but it's very spiritual. So
exactly.
It's really wonderful, and I'm excited about it.
You know, it's funny because there are folks that talk about, like Rob Bell talks about, how his first novel was like the most personal book that he's ever written.
Yeah.
This feels like a very vulnerable personal thing that we've done.
Yeah.
Even though like a lot of it is interviews, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Julia said, "What's next? Drink and Delight." I love it.
Sure.
Drink and Delight is next.
I love it. We yeah. So with this, it's going to be a long form video, and who knows what's going to happen with it? You know, we'll see. We'll test it out, but it's just one of those kind of fun things that we're trying out, and you know, Talking Toast started out with just I'll see what happens with this. If we get we
said if we got like 10 views or 12 views, I think it was.
Yeah, it'd be worth it.
On that first day, that first time doing Talking Toast. And then we looked at it and the views just kept ticking up and ticking up and ticking up until we finally got to like
there was
700.
No.
Was it more
on
than
that first one? Yeah, it was 1,200 at least.
Man. Yeah. Anyway, who knows? I'm trying to curtail my expectations of Sip and Savor. But,
oh no, I don't have any expectations.
It's
just birthing something into the world.
It's been a fun process for us.
It has been. So yeah, that's been sustaining me.
Yeah.
I get to use my old editing skills and stuff.
Yeah, it's been fun.
So, yeah. We are in the middle of our Delightful Church project. Katie has brought down Ross Gay's The Book of Delights, and I think, yep, there it is. And the second book that follows this one is The Book of More Delights.
Creatively titled.
Yes. And what we're going to do is we're going to preach 2 homilies on Sunday. Surprise! And then Katie is going to preach the second one, talking kind of... taking this text and pairing it with delight, and then I'm going to do the work of kind of diving into the scripture that is the lectionary scripture for this Sunday. So you ready to talk about it?
Yeah, let's talk about it. So
It's a tough one.
we've been doing this project with delight and trying to experiment with delight. So we're asking the question of what makes a delightful church? What makes a delightful community? What makes a delightful individual? And what gift does that person, community, church, etc., bear to the world as a result of being anchored by delight?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm very interested in your take on the delight on this. I'm very interested in what is going to come out of this scripture to begin with.
Yeah.
This is one that I'm very excited about because it is a challenge. Absolutely is a challenge. There's some little things here and there that we can share that kind of shed light on it. That we'll share either tonight or in the thing, but we'll see what happens. But the scripture is Luke 6 verses 27 through 38. And this, I say, is one of the hardest scriptures because this is the love your enemies text.
Yeah.
This is one of the love your enemies texts. It's like pray for those who
persecute
who
you,
treat you wrongly, who
are
speak
bad.
ill of you. Pray for those and love your enemies. And it's also the turn the other cheek passage.
Yep.
And if someone asks you to carry something, you carry it 2 miles. You know,
Yeah.
they ask you to carry it 1 mile, you carry it 2 miles.
And if they ask for the coat on your back, you
That's
give them.
Yeah, that's not in.
Oh, really? That's not in this one.
No, that's that's in the Matthew one.
Okay.
I think because that was the Luke one doesn't necessarily have the military side to it,
Okay.
but
yeah.
the Matthew one
That makes
seems
sense.
a little more. We'll get into that another time, but yeah. So in this text, there is now I'm second guessing myself.
No,
I've got to
don't
go back
worry
and look.
about it. Don't worry about it. Unnecessary.
Unnecessary. In this text, this is the one where it talks about loving your enemies, and I think this is kind of spiritual ninjutsu
Yeah.
that Jesus is playing with here, because
To mix some metaphors there.
yeah, turn them all over. Because what happens when you love your enemies, eventually,
Yeah, I'm still waiting on that.
they aren't your enemies anymore. You can see them more as human beings. This gets into a whole process of letting go. It gets into a whole process of forgiveness. But I think there is something there for us in all of this, because this is not saying, all right, you get walked on. You turn the other cheek, you get
Sure.
slapped on the other side. You know, you do double with this. There is an element of standing up for yourself in this text, and the forgiving, the letting go, the enemy side of this, the letting go of the enemy side of this is also for you, because whenever we carry those things,
They're,
they eat at us.
yeah,
That's
they're
not
just as harmful.
Our sitting back, letting those folks live rent free in our head, is not doing them any great favor. It's not.
And it's not doing us any.
Well, it's hurting us.
Yeah.
It hurts us. But I'm saying it's not like they benefit from it, and
Yeah.
we're not doing anything
Yeah.
in that that like gets somebody back, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So there's a spiritual ninjutsu that's taking place a little bit, turning that upside down.
Yeah.
And I think it's so different. I've been reading through different posts and things right now. A lot of our black friends are saying, look, the woke word, that kind of thing, is basically a replacement for the N word. So
Yeah.
there are hats now that say not woke, that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things. That's a hard place to be, to try and begin to spin some of these things. And you see a lot of the narrative out there right now is just trying to own the other side. You see owning the libs, or owning the, you know, that kind of talk that's so anti-Christ in this, and it's so different. What do you?
When you run out of cheeks, knock the hell out of them. Yes. No, but I resonate with that, Julia, because like my instinct is completely other than praying for enemies and that sort of thing. I'm the big bark kind of person. No bite, but big bark. But all of stop. Is that the saying? All bark, no bite. Yeah, that's me. But all of that to say, this is something that I really like wrestle with because I don't want to pray for folks who have hurt me and hurt my family. And in a lot of ways, like, that's a journey that I'm still trying to figure out what it looks like. Yeah. But I do think that there's something important here in that challenging aspect of spirituality that if we were going through like a checklist of Nadia Bolz-Weber calls it like the buffet of different religious beliefs, of different religions, really. I would probably skip over this one, because it's hard.
It is hard.
But I think that some of the difficulty shows the value.
Yeah.
And that there is a value in letting go, in finding that journey of forgiveness, going on that journey of forgiveness, with certain boundaries. Excuse me, with certain boundaries around oneself.
Yeah.
But going on that journey for the sake of yourself.
Yeah. And there's that side of it, which sometimes I attach to forgiveness in some ways. And then there's the other side of the in the moment stand up. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and do the thing, even if we do it again on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay. In the Roman world at this time, the way that you could show your utter contempt of someone, if you wanted to publicly embarrass someone, then you would slap them on the cheek, and it'd be a backhand. Mm-hmm. So, Katie, no, I'm not gonna do it.
No, I know, I'm saying, but I don't like the optics of this.
Okay, well, okay, I can't hit myself.
No, but you can.
You can do it.
No,
you do it.
No.
Okay. All right. So look,
I still don't like the optics.
It's the right hand on this. So if you slap me on the right hand, and then I turn the other cheek, you can't backhand me again.
Right.
Because that's the turning the other cheek part. You can't backhand again.
Right.
And so there is an element of standing up for yourself in this that's there too. So I think that's probably what I'll end up focusing on, is that there is a standing up, but then there's also a letting go for your sake. That's built into this model.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we'll see.
So what I'm interested in exploring is the way that this whole like praying for your enemies, and going the extra mile and all of that stuff for an enemy subverts that label.
Yeah.
And so I think what it means to be grounded in delight means to be a subverter of labels. Huh. Right? So to be a person who transforms labels, and not just in some like cognitive way of just making light of things, but to see what's going on under the surface. And so there's this really great essay in the first book of Delights, and I can't say its title on the air.
You can't say some of the words
and
in
I can't say many of the words in it. But Ross Gay doesn't hold back, and I love it because anyway. But he talks about when his brother and he were little kids, and they were kind of picked on by this a young man who was a little bit older than them, and he called them names that were a little bit foul for kids. So he called them names, and he would pick on them. He would pinch them and twist them on the arm, on the back of the arm. And so Ross's mom apparently ripped this young man a new one. And said, I remember him listening quite calmly, almost demure, calling my mother Miss Gay, and suggesting he would not become a child molester, which is what she said he would become if he had such a dirty mouth around her children. I think Tim was probably right and was just in a sadistic phase, not unlike my own at around 12. And then he goes into this. But I mostly offer this story as a kind of background against which to enjoy the easy way my mother described her granddaughters, my niece's third-grade teacher, who evidently could sometimes not be very nice to some of the kids, as the foul word.
Yeah.
And so there's this turning and subverting the terrible thing that happened to him as a child and being picked on and whatnot, by the bigger kid too, like power dynamics, lots of really awful things going on there. But what he does in that is he subverts it. And sure, it's not great to call one's teacher that name or whatever, but I think that the mechanism here is the important thing to lean into. It's this mechanism of taking something that is a little bit challenging, that is painful even, a person that has been painful, and subverting that title and label in a way that just kind of makes you laugh and say like, oh, well, yeah, I probably was that too as a kid. Or and it reminds me of Nadia Bolz-Weber in that podcast that I listened to last week, of her with Rainn Wilson, who was Dwight Schrute on The Office. She talked about how, shoot, I just completely lost that thought.
Nadia Bolz-Weber was talking about subverting.
Shoot.
I'm sorry, I can't help you.
It's gone. Well,
it's a good podcast.
It was a good podcast. There's a great interview.
I listened to some of it.
And there's something in there that reminded me of what we were talking about, but I can't put my finger on it now all of a sudden.
I tell you what, you're becoming more like me.
Don't say that.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, anything you want to say to end?
This is really going to bother me.
I'm sorry.
Dadgummit.
I listened to the one part.
But I guess all of that to say, this work of subverting the labels is really important work for us, for our person, for our soul. If there's a label attached to anyone, that's interior work that needs to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hard text, hard scripture. Love your enemies.
Apparently, a hard memory that I can't recall.
That's okay. Your dad said, I fired his secretary after working for our office for 8 years. For good reason. I had to fire her. One later, when she called me at the office and asked me to help her with her flat tire, she was close. I was glad she turned the other cheek and asked for help, and I never regret helping her.
Yeah.
We would need... Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. And that's like the time that you were fired, Dad, and you helped your boss who had just fired you take her stuff up the stairs.
Lordy.
Yep.
Well, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. Turning the other cheek. It doesn't just mean getting walked on.
It doesn't.
No.
And it really is important to lean into the interior work that we do. I know what I was going to say.
Okay. I was waiting on it.
There it is. What she talked about was that when someone wrongs you, you have a particular story that you tell of that experience.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a particular story that they tell of that experience.
Yes.
And the two are not the same.
No.
And it is a real possibility that that story that you're hanging on to is a story that is skewed by the labels and all the things that are infusing it. And I just really appreciated that idea that, you know, all of those terrible wrongs that I hold on to and have held on to for some years, there is another story to that. And while I believe myself and I know my story, it is helpful to me to understand that there are many sides to a story and many stories to be told. And then in that, there can be delight that can be found in subverting those labels that have been attached to those stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know, like, it's hard to talk about this too, because there are some real wrongs and real issues that, like, I don't think are worthy of forgiveness. When you start, like, physically harming people, I don't want to have a conversation about forgiveness.
Yeah.
And so it's a hard line to walk, but forgiveness is never for the other person. It's always for oneself.
Right. And that forgiveness also lends us to opening up our story a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those stories can become something that can be, I don't know, turned in a way.
Yeah.
The story we tell ourselves and the stories that we tell, they matter. So in thinking about that, I really appreciate you saying the thing about their multiple stories.
Yeah.
There.
And it's kind of like Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's famous TED Talk, The Danger of a Single Story.
Yeah.
That I always watch that TED Talk and I'm like, yeah, that's right. So they shouldn't have that single story of me or you know, whatever it may be. But it's also kind of a mirror to hold up to myself of like, that single story you're holding on to like this, it needs some breathing room.
Yeah.
It needs some air.
For yourself.
For me.
Yeah.
For me to get by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad you remembered that. We
Didn't have to wait till 3 a.m., Julia.
There we go. We need to do some toasting.
Yeah, and I promised Sophie she could toast with us. Sophie, do you want to toast with us? Sophie.
She's over on GarageBand. She's all right.
All right. Well, cheers to you, friends. And wherever you are, wherever you're going, may you do the inner work of recognizing the places and the labels that need to be transformed in your own life.
Yeah. May you stand up for yourself and let go where you need to let go.
Cheers.
It's hard work.
It's hard work. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Be gentle on yourself.
Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. We'll see you.
Come toast. Now she decided to come toast. All right. What's your toast going to be?
What were you talking about?
Well, we were talking about loving others.
Loving our enemies and forgiving people.
Then what should I say?
I don't
Whatever
know.
you want to say.
What do you want to say about a toast? Say,
tell people to be
here's
gentle.
to telling good stories.
What?
Here's to telling good stories.
Here's the telling of stories.
Cheers.
Do you tell good stories?
Yeah. At school.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Say.
Cheers to telling good stories.
Cheers.
Cheers, y'all.
We'll see you next week.
And don't forget to tune in on Thursday at 8 o'clock for Sip and Savor.
Absolutely.
Sip and
Thursday,
savor.
8 o'clock, Sip and Savor. Yeah, we haven't told you much about that, have we?
No.
All right. Well, here we go.
I'm
Bye, friends.